Well, plow day season is among us. PA plow day is less than a week away, and I came home for Easter weekend a little bit early so I could have some extra time to work on my tractors and get them ready for the plow day. And you'll have to bear with me. I'm running on just a couple hours of sleep, and my phone battery's running out, so I'm going to try and make this video short and sweet if I can, but we'll see how that goes. It's been quite a while since I made a video from the old garage here. We've had a lot of stuff going on coming in and out of the garage here, and we're currently trying to reorganize some stuff, and I'm going to reorganize my workbench area pretty soon, so I should hopefully have more room for tractors and attachments and stuff, but that'll come, later on in the spring. But anyway, I just wanted to make this quick video for you guys to see my plow day setup this year, for those of you who are into my PA plow day videos. So let's get started. My main plow day tractor this year is going to be the 78 316 Kohler. That's half the reason I bought the tractor. Those of you who have been around a while, you know that I bought this tractor as a 90th birthday present for my grandfather. He's just going to use it to mow his lawn. We're just starting to mow grass here in South Jersey, and the weather hasn't really been cooperating, and my grandfather hasn't really had a chance to mow the lawn yet because it's been pretty wet. So I figure for the first couple weeks of spring, I would use it for the plow days instead. The 316 is going to be a much better tractor to run than the 210, just because it's hydrostatic and everything. Those of you who've been around a while, you know that I had a 140 H3 last year. That was a great plowing tractor. It ran really well, as long as the fuel tank was at least half full. I hated having to stop every 45 minutes and top the fuel tank off. That was basically the reason I gave Andrew his 140 back and picked up this 316, because it's got the 16 horse K341, which is it's the same exact spec as the one that's in my 210, so the engines are basically identical, and the 316 has the much larger fuel tank under the seat, so I should be able to run much longer without having to stop and fill up and hold up the line behind me. That was a little embarrassing last year. But anyway, like I said, last time you guys saw it, I had just given it to my grandfather at the end of last season, and the tractor was set up for mowing. So a couple weeks ago when I was home, I dropped the mower deck, and I got it ready for plowing. I swapped on my set of Tru-Power tires, my spare set, and one of my sets of 50-pound wheel weights. And I mounted up the sleeve hitch and the basically brand new Brindley plow that I got with the tractor. If you remember, Cody sold me everything as like a package deal, so these all kind of came together, so that's kind of cool. So this plow's still like new. I mean, it's never seen a plow day. I've had it out in the field behind my house, just taking a couple test rounds with it. I need to wash it off and grease the mold board again, but I've just been pressed for time. So I've been fixing a lot of the little odds and ends on this tractor here and there. The tractor starts and runs great. It's got somewhere's around 850 hours, I believe. The hour meter stopped working a little while ago. But it runs basically like new now that I've gotten a lot of things fixed and adjusted on it. When I had it at the shop up at school last semester, in the update video I made back then, I'd been fixing a lot of little things on it. I fixed basically anything that was broken, and got it in good running and mowing condition. And now, since plow day puts a little more wear and tear on the tractor, I had to fix basically everything else that I hadn't fixed before. The biggest issue I had was, well, I guess not really a big issue, but my main concern was replacing the points and condenser, because the old points were pretty well shot. I also decided to replace the governor arm here, because the original governor arm was pretty wore out. The holes here, like where the governor spring hooks up and where the governor arm slides onto the cross shaft, were basically egged out, and no matter how tight I adjusted this bolt, the governor arm was just loose and it had a lot of slop in it. So the throttle would not hold at a constant position. The engine speed would always be changing. So I figured it'd be worth a few extra bucks to just buy another governor arm. So I got that installed and adjusted it this afternoon, and now it revs up like it's supposed to, and it holds constant wide open throttle like it's supposed to, so that's good. So that's one thing off the list. Like I said, I put a new set of points and condenser on it. I actually had to run a new points wire from the coil all the way through there to the points, because the old wire was grounding out. Basically, whenever I ran it with the cover off, it would run fine, and then when I put the points cover back on, it wouldn't spark, so the wire, I could tell, was grounding out. So I ran a new piece of wire. That wasn't too hard to do. I've been messing with the new carburetor a little bit, just trying to get it adjusted and set right. A lot of people diss these Chinese carburetors that they sell like on eBay for these Kohler engines, but this is the second one I've had, and I haven't really had any trouble with it. Usually all you have to do is just replace the choke lever, the choke shaft, because they come with a generic one that isn't correct for this application. That's all I really had to do, just replace the choke shaft, and this carburetor's been great. I've had to do a little adjusting to get it dialed in just right. I also had to replace the fuel line from the pump to the carburetor because the old one was dried up and leaking. And the engine, when I took it out a few weeks ago to test it out in the dirt, the engine was bogging down pretty good when I put it under a load. So this afternoon I adjusted the valves. The valves were pretty tight. I could tell they hadn't been adjusted in a long time. So I set them to 9 thousandths on the intake and 18 thousandths on the exhaust, which is basically what Kohler recommends in the service manual. And then I tested it out in the field again today, and it doesn't bog down anymore, and it also doesn't knock. I had to set the points gap at 12 thousandths, which is pretty tight. They usually call for 18 to 20 thousandths, but I couldn't get the engine to stop knocking with those settings. So what I've heard some guys do is they set the points to 12 thousandths, and that's what I did, and I took it out in the field and tested it out, and the engine stopped knocking. So I just hope it stays that way. The front tires kept going flat. These were Cody put these new tires on just a couple years ago. I mean, they're still basically brand new. They don't have any wear on them, but they kept going flat. They wouldn't hold air, so I put tubes in them. That was no big deal. I also put tubes in the back tires. These are the same tires I had on the 140 last year, but after plow day, one of the tires, I think it was on this side, it kept going flat. It was leaking out of the bead, so I just decided to have all 4 tires tubed. I think tubes are a much better option. They're good insurance, especially, you know, at the plow day when you're out in the field, and it would suck to have a flat tire in the middle of the field. So yeah, that's basically it for the 316. It starts and runs good. I just have to basically just button it up now. I'm going to do that once I stop this video. And of course, as always, the old 210 is going to be there for the ride. I haven't really used this tractor hardly at all the past couple months. I mean, obviously I've been away at school, but even when I'm home, I just haven't had the need to run this tractor, so I haven't really put any hours on it. So I figure it would be good to bring it to plow day. Somebody can, you know, run it in case their tractor breaks down, or, you know, God forbid the 316 breaks down. I can use the 210 as a backup. It's not the most comfortable tractor or the most powerful tractor there, but this 210 is super reliable, and it always starts right up, and it's always ready to go to work. So it'll be coming along for the ride. And I'm sure everybody wants to see it anyway, because this seems to be everybody's favorite tractor out of all the ones that I own. So it's been sitting for the past couple months. I just got it started up today. I had drained the gas out of the tank. I had to put fresh gas in it, and I changed the fuel filter as well. I haven't really had to do much to it. I'm just, you know, going over it, giving it a general servicing. I have to change the oil in it yet, and I'm having issues with the brakes still. For those of you who remember last year, I replaced the original brake lining material with some stock non-metallic brake lining from McMaster Car, and it was enough to get me through the plow day. But after I got home and switched it over to mowing duty a couple weeks later, the brake lining that I installed just didn't hold up. It fell right off, and I had no brakes again. And I never really got around to fixing it, so I basically ran it the whole summer with really crappy brakes. And by the time the spring came around and I started tearing into this to fix it, the original brake band had completely worn through, so that was basically junk. So I just bought a brand new brake band from John Deere, and I had to do a little custom modification to it, as you can see here. It's kind of hard to explain without having it mounted on the tractor, but originally how these brake bands came, the brake bands came with these little pieces attached to them, and they were secured with 1/4-inch pins that were welded in place. But the new brake band was just the band itself with the loops on the end. It didn't have the pins welded in. So I basically had to drill the old pins out and weld new pins in. And when I got it mounted on the tractor, the pins were sticking out so far that it was actually keeping the brake assembly from moving up and down inside this little sleeve here, or bracket rather. because the welds were sticking out too far. So what I have to do is just grind the welds down a little bit. It shouldn't hurt anything. So I'm going to do that tonight. That shouldn't be too hard to do. It's just a pain because I got to take the left rear wheel off and get all up between the frame and the transaxle. There's not a whole lot of room to do that. It just kind of sucks. It's probably my least favorite thing to fix on these 200 series. But this will be my I think my third time fixing the brakes on this tractor. So hopefully this is the last time. Being that this is an original John Deere OEM brake band, it should last another 30 years at least. So at least I won't have to worry about it down the road. I got the sleeve hitch mounted up on it, as you can see, and I'm going to mount up a set of 50-pound wheel weights on this one as well. Actually, I've been thinking about maybe doubling up the wheel weights. I've got a few extra sets, as you can see here, so just for the heck of it, I've been thinking about maybe adding 2 sets of wheel weights to this tractor, just seeing how it performs. I'll probably run this one for night plowing because it's got the LED headlights, and just, it'll be a nice change up from using the 316. One thing's for sure, I'll have plenty of weights with me. I finally got my suitcase weight collection up to 10, and I don't have a use for all 10 at once, but I figure I'll bring a couple with me in case somebody else needs extra weight. Can never hurt to have too much weight, especially when you're plowing. So I'll be bringing a couple extra suitcase weights with me. If anybody needs them, just let me know. But yeah, that's basically it. I mean, this prep video isn't as exciting as the previous ones I've made. Basically the same thing as last year with the 210 and the 140, but I'm curious to see how the 316 performs, especially compared to the 140, because they're more or less the same machine, except this one has a rubber-mounted engine and it has the bigger fuel tank. So, like I said before, I should be able to go much, much longer without having to fill up and hold the line up every time I ran out of gas. So I'm curious to see how this tractor plows. I think it'll be fun. That pretty much wraps up this video. Like I said, it was just going to be a crappy little impromptu video. Like I said, I'm pretty tired, just running on a couple hours of sleep, and I've been running around like crazy the past couple days getting parts and trying to get my tractors ready to go. So I got to get them back together and get them loaded on my trailer and get them greased and everything. So stay tuned for PA Plow Day 2019 videos, guys. I know they're a pretty big hit on my channel. I have final exams like 2 and 3 days right after Plow Day, so it might take me a little bit longer to get my videos edited and uploaded, but don't worry, I'll get them uploaded. So if you like this video, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys out there at the Plow Day. We're going to have a great time this year.